I'm currently trying to like finalize packing my suitcase because currently it's kind of, we've got all of this, I've still got some stuff up there to pack, I've got my carry-on, I've still got to get all of these candles and more in, and I've still got like one bar of chocolate just here. And so yeah, I'm starting to run out of space. I'm trying to be smart, so my shoes are packed with journal supplies. My bag, that is full of candy and snacks. This has got another batch of journal supplies with some art stuff that I need to take, some presents, and it's also got a whole bunch, like, I'll show you in here. It's full of chocolate and snacks. I've then got like some personal stuff, some tea bags, because I've been told that there is Yorkshire tea in Australia, but it's not very good. And then Stitch, he's going to have my journals, like the actual journals and the last little bits of journal supplies, and he's going to go in this gap here. This is already kind of full of snacks and is going to have even more snacks in it. And that's probably going to be the section where I put all my candles. And then we have my clothes, where this is absolutely packed full. So I might have to go through and maybe take some clothes out and be like, okay, am I really going to wear these? Like this dress. It's nice and it's cute and I have ideas for how I want to style it, but I'm also like, could I just leave it at home? I've got a pair of trousers here that, again, the only reason why I want to take them is their linen blend and they might be a bit warmer and they'll be nicer for like a more formal thing, like, you know, going out with people. But I might have a rethink. But I do also have, in case, I'm going to weigh this once I've packed it as much as I can, see where we're at, and I might be taking that tiny little suitcase with me and just packing that with all of the snacks. But yeah, I'm exhausted trying to get this thing sorted. We are now down to 9 days until I go. Oh, it's starting to really feel real now. I'm starting to feel the panic a little bit of, oh my god, this is actually happening. Still have all this stuff that I've got on Vinted for sale, but by the time, like my shop, I'm closing my Vinted wardrobe in 7 days. So anything of this that hasn't been sold will be going up into storage again. And I'll just keep selling it when I get back. And yeah, I'm just basically now in trying to get everything done. I'm going out today. Oh, there's a cat. I'm going out today to see my brother and my nieces, because the one that was born this year, I've only actually seen her once so far. And she's now 12 weeks old, and obviously I'm not going to see her for 3 months, so I want to see her while she's still tiny. And then the 4-year-old, she's been asking to see me, so I'm going to be seeing those in about an hour. I'm going to go watch the older one go with her swimming lesson and then go back to theirs afterwards for a couple of hours. But I am currently on a sleeping pattern now that is more in line with Australia. I've been going to bed sort of between 2 and 5 p.m. By the time it hits sort of like 2, 3 p.m, it's sort of like most people's equivalent of 10, 11 p.m. So we'll see how I get on, because obviously I'm going to have to go out and then come back and have food and then go straight to bed, and I can tell that's going to screw me up a little bit. My flight is at 1:40 p.m, so obviously if I've got myself into a sleeping pattern of going to bed at 12, I'm going to struggle to force myself to stay up that extra hour or two. So that's why at the minute it's sort of like I go to bed more around 4 p.m. to be asleep by, well, 3 p.m. to be asleep by 4, 5, and then I'm waking up at sort of between 12, like midnight, and 2 a.m. And it just means that when I get on my first flight, I'll be able to like get on the flight and basically curl up and go to sleep. And I'm hoping that that first sort of 7-hour stint, that'll be when I do my sleeping. So when we're on the second flight, which is the longer one, I've requested an aisle seat because I don't really want to be the one that's awake and have to keep waking people up if I need to go to the bathroom. But that flight I'm hoping to stay awake on, because when I arrive in Australia, it will be 10 o'clock at night. well, I land at 9 o'clock at night, but by the time I get back to Rennes, it'll be sort of like 11 o'clock at night. So hopefully by doing the sleeping pattern that I've been doing and getting myself into the routine I've gotten into, hopefully I can try and get ahead of that jet lag. And when I said to my sister what my plan was and that's what I was going to do, she was like, if you can do it, that's really clever, like that's a really good idea. So yeah, but I've been basically, today I've just spent like £30 on all of it on snacks and things. So yeah, still got quite a bit to do and not a lot of time to do it in, because I've also still got to do some tidying and cleaning, but I've kind of deliberately been holding off doing things until the last minute. I will admit one thing that I stupidly did is with my candles, I should have ordered some supplies. I didn't realise how low I was on the wax, and certainly for January I've got orders from 3 people over in Australia that I'm giving to them when I'm over there, so it was kind of like, oh, I don't actually have enough. So panicked yesterday, ordered like next day shop delivery, so it won't be today, it'll be, because it's the weekend, it'll be Monday. But basically as soon as they arrive I'll go finish the last few candles that I need to make and get those in the case, and then I should by that point have pretty much a good idea of what my weight limit is. So I've got a 30 kilo, I thought it was only a 25 kilo, but they told me on customer services, I went on their help desk and they were like, no, it's 30 kilos. So I'm hoping I can get it to as close to 30 as I can, based on my scales anyway. And I've just said to Ren, like, if at the end of the day, if I go over by 1 or 2 kilos and I just have to pay a bit extra, then I have to pay a bit extra. Ren has faith in my packing skills, because when we went to Scotland I managed to pack a quite frankly absurd amount of clothing in my little suitcase. So Ren seems confident that I'm going to be able to get it all in one case. I am less confident, but I'm confident in Ren's confidence. Let's just go with that. I don't know if I'm going to update between now and leaving. I might do, just to show if I can get everything in the suitcase and what it all looks like. But otherwise I will catch you next time at the airport. So either I will see you with an update on my case, or I will forget and I will see you when I'm at the airport. First time in Adelaide! I was zoomed in! Ha! So hi from Australia. I'm here, I made it. I've actually been here nearly a week, but it's just taken me a long time to settle in and kind of recuperate from the flying. The first flight I was okay. The second flight, we only had an hour and 15 minutes in Dubai before my next flight, and to get from the terminal that I came into to where I needed for my next flight, it was about a 20-minute sort of trek across part of the airport, and I had to get on like a little train thing. And it worked out with the timings that I was like, I've got an hour and a half, that's plenty of time. Only that hour and a half ended up being more like 30, 40 minutes, because the gates for boarding closed 20 minutes before the flight took off. So it was like, well, that's now an hour and 10 minutes. And then just, yeah, it was a bit panicky, and I did have a little bit more time in the end. I got on the plane about 40 minutes before takeoff, so I did have an extra 20 minutes that I could have gone a bit slower, but because I've never been there, I didn't know it, I didn't know where I was going, I kind of just panicked and ran. Unfortunately, I did start to feel very, very unwell on the second flight. My plan had been to sleep on the first flight and stay awake on the second. What ended up happening was I stayed awake on the first flight, and for the the 11 hour and 50-minute long flight, I slept for about nine and a half of those 12 hours, and anytime I was awake, I just felt so unwell. I was just really dizzy, really sick. The flight attendant woke me up to get me to eat some breakfast, and about 2 hours into the flight, and I was like, I can't eat. So what he did was he took away like the sort of the fresh food, like the yogurts and the fruit, but he left me sort of like the croissant and the cereal bar, and was like, I want to see you eat those. And then he came and got me a ginger ale, and he like checked on me a couple of times throughout the flight just to make sure that I was okay, because he was obviously concerned that this was something. And I just said to him, I'm not sick, this is just like travel. My body is not used to this travel. And I also was going through a hell of a lot of stress, because as I worked out with Ren, I went through a lot of firsts on that journey. You know, it was my first time leaving Europe, first solo flight, first meals on a flight, my first time on a long haul flight, first time working out about sleep. So there was a lot of different, and like, you know, I was worried about like, am I going to get through customs okay, because I've got cheese in my suitcase? You know, all of these things just kept going through my head, and I was like, what if they don't let me in? Thankfully, when I got to Adelaide, I was so used to the TV shows as well, where it shows them, you know, Nothing to Declare and all of those sort of shows where they go through all of the bags and everything. So I was kind of like, oh my God, what if they do that to me? They didn't. They literally just looked at my card. I ticked yes for medication, and they were like, are they prescription medication? And I was like, yes. And they were like, well, that's fine. And then they were like, oh yeah, just go through that way for the food declared. And they didn't even look at it, they didn't check it. The woman was just like, oh, what do you have? I said, I've got a single block of cheese that's like this big. And she was like, does it have any nuts in it? I was like, no, it just has cranberries. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, off you go. And I was like, wait, what? Is that it? I was expecting to be in customs for like an hour. I had in my head that they were gonna, you know, go through everything in my suitcase. They were gonna want to check my visa and my bank account and all of this. And I just got myself so worked up thinking, oh my God, they're not gonna let me in. And then I was like, oh, I got so stressed out for nothing. But, you know, Ren waited for me outside. They bought me some flowers. I got some lovely roses. We got back home. I was asleep within 10 minutes of being in the house, I think, something like that. It was not long at all. I crashed, but I didn't sleep for too long on the first night because I'd slept so long on the plane. So I was awake again by sort of 2 in the morning. And then I came into the living room and I just kind of started reading some manga, because obviously while I'm here, I'm invading the shelves. And so I started reading some manga. And then I have noticed it's now been, I think, 5 or 6 nights. I am struggling with sleep, partly because My brain is obviously going, it's the wrong time of day to be sleeping, but mostly because I am not used to sharing a room with someone. And you know, at home I've got my room set up perfectly. It blocks pretty much every single shred of light, and I've got my fan to the right angle for the right noise, and obviously it's all different here. And I've never slept well when I've been in a room with an animal, especially like a dog. And Mr. Chopper over there not only snores horrifically, he also has the worst farts that on one morning woke me up on the verge of puking. It was that strong, and I had to leave the room because I was feeling so nauseous from it. Also, Ren's been recovering from a chest infection. It started to clear up, but in the week that I've been here, because we've been doing stuff and up and walking around, that started to play up again. So Ren has been having some troubles with like coughing and breathing and stuff at night. So between the two of them, as well as like my internal body clock, I've just been not sleeping great at all. I've been very fits and starts every single night so far. I've ended up leaving the bedroom to sleep on the sofa that is somewhere. Can't even see it. Can I? To sleep here on the sofa. And then last night, Ren's niece, who is also living here, she, for that first few nights, slept in the main house. But last night she kind of came back and slept here because obviously it's the start of the school week today. So I was really worried about that, because obviously the first few nights it didn't matter if I woke up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock. I could just come out, play video games, I could read my book, turn the lights on, get some food, whatever. So I was like, obviously if she's asleep, I don't want to be doing that. During the summer holidays it won't be so bad, but right now I don't want to be doing that. But I came out this morning, I did manage to stay in bed till 5 before I finally got to the point where I was like, I'd only been sort of sleeping for like an hour at a time, and then I was like, I need a solid 2-3 hours of sleep. So I came out and I settled on the sofa, cuddled in, went to sleep. She was right next to me on the floor because her bed is like this here that you can see. This is her bed. Like, she's got her little headboard and then she's got a mattress coming down. And so I was obviously here on the sofa. So we were like right next to each other, and there was no problem. She didn't stir. I didn't really hear her. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, that's definitely going to be, at the moment, because we're not doing tons, I can kind of just go back to bed. So, you know, sleep has been fun. The weather has been fine. The first like 4 or 5 days, it was actually reasonably cool. It was sort of like between 18 and 22 degrees, and so like that's kind of in my comfort level. And it was kind of different because I actually felt really cool, and a couple of times felt quite chilly. But then yesterday we went to the Oz Asia Festival, which will be in the next vlog, because this is a very delayed video. I was meant to upload this ages ago. So yeah, the Oz Asia Festival we went to yesterday, and that was the first sort of day where it was high 20s. It was like 26, and even like back home 26 I don't cope well. Yesterday, even though I was wearing trousers and a black t-shirt, there was only one point where I did really start to feel unwell, but the rest of it I managed really well. I did get a tiny little teeny tiny bit of sunburn here, but not enough to really be worried. Yeah, I seemed to manage it pretty well, and I had a really great day with Ren, and it was awesome. So yeah, we did all that, and it's been really great so far, and I'm having a good time. But like I said, I've been adjusting, and the food, hilariously, I have had dumplings every single day since I've been here, and I have pretty much solely eaten Asian food since I got here, which is hilarious. I think it's just because that is a safe food for me. It tastes the same no matter where you go. Because I even noticed we bought a cooked chicken, and I was like, even the chicken tastes different. And like, I've bought Cheerios, but their honey Cheerios taste so different to the honey Cheerios back home. And I'm noticing like everything so far, even things that are identical. Like we had Ben & Jerry's last night. It was caramel choo choo. They have a different name for it here, but it was the caramel choo choo, and even that's had a very slightly different texture to it. And I was like, why does everything taste different? So, you know, I've been having a bit of time adjusting to that. But I found the things that I like, and so far, you know, the Asian food has just been incredible. And I've had like dumplings and teriyaki chicken so much this week. It's been great. But we should be going shopping today or tomorrow for groceries, and I said we need to actually like buy groceries rather than just like snacky food, so I can start actually cooking again. But yeah, that's basically a wrap up of like my first week. It's just basically been a case of adjusting, getting to meet people. Everyone's been really lovely and welcoming, and also got to see the niece do her dance because she is a dancer, and got to see her dancing, and she was just absolutely incredible. So proud of her. And yeah, it's just been kind of, because it's not really a holiday, it's not like, you know, if I was on holiday we would have been out and doing stuff every single day, but because this is like, you know, we've got 3 months, we can take our time. The first like 5-6 days it has just been very chill, and just kind of, you know, get some laundry done, try some foods, go to one thing, and then just, you know, we went out for a meal on the on the Friday. We went for a meal and I had beef and black bean sauce and it was amazing. And yeah, it's just been quite sort of more chilled and casual. I think this week, because we're now in Monday, this week is when we start with the busy stuff. Like this week there's a lot of sort of appointments, there's a few shopping trips that we need to do, like to a couple of, for like Christmas supplies. I think I'm going into the city again this week to do some other bits. We've got the Adelaide Rally is this week, I believe. Is it this week or next? Yeah, this we've got the Adelaide Rally, which is like a car thing, so I'll be meeting Max this week. So there are various things going on this week, so it's going to be a little bit busier now. But yeah, it's been great so far. I'm really having fun, and like I said, there'll be another, like, the plan is every month there'll be like 2 vlogs with sort of what I've been getting up to while I've been here. Like, they might not necessarily be bookish, they might be a bit more lifestyle and chatty like this. We shall see. But it's been really lovely so far and I had a great time. And like I said, I don't know, I will be doing a vlog for like the Asian festival that we went to yesterday, so there'll be like a little sort of travel vlog thing. If that's already uploaded by the time I get to this, I'll put it up here. Otherwise, please keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming soon. But yeah, so far so good. And I've learned a few things for when I go home to do when I'm on the flight. And then the rest of the time I'm just like, okay, I don't need to panic about things so much anymore. But also it's now starting to get really warm because it is now, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning and it's about 24 degrees. So it's starting to warm up a bit, so I'm going to get the AC back on. I don't actually need it right now, but I know Ren prefers it to stay on during the day. So, oh, I've been bitten. There are so many more mosquitoes here. I've also been obsessed with birds. I'm not normally big on birds. At home I don't really notice them, but here I've been absolutely obsessed. Like yesterday I saw my first galahs and I was like, oh my god, is that a galah? And Ren was like, oh, are they the one, if they got pink on them? I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, that's the galah. I was like, oh my god, they're so pretty. And every morning in one of the trees, I think it's the almond tree, they have like these green parrots and they're so cute. They're really noisy and obnoxious as well though. And I've said, like, why do your birds sound like they've all been stuffed with squeaky toy, like dog squeakers? So like the birds is kind of like the payoff in the UK. The birds are boring, but they aren't very like, they don't rattle your brain. Whereas here the birds are gorgeous, but they are so obnoxious. It's quite hilarious, but I've been a little bit obsessed with the birds. I've been like, anytime I see a bird, I'm like, a bird. Anyway, that's a little bit of a wrap up for this week, and I'll be back soon with another Australia vlog, hopefully when we've done more and I've got more to actually like vlog and show you of the adventures. But in the meantime, I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to update you on the next one, and I will see you soon.